Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Another gorgeous summer day here in Long Island, New York. How are you guys doing? How's your gardening coming along? In today's video, we're going to talk about a problem that many of us gardeners encounter, especially when it comes to growing tomatoes in our home garden. And that problem is blossom and rot, guys. For those of us growing tomatoes in our home garden, we almost all the time encounter this problem. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what blossom and rot is, why does it occur, how we can prevent this from ever happening to our tomatoes again, and also if this problem occurred, what emergency steps we could take to fix this problem once and for all. So for those of you looking for that online garden channel that offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. And if you never want to miss any of my new upcoming gardening videos, click the bell icon as well. YouTube will alert you, will notify you every time I upload a new garden video. Now come with me, let's talk all about blossom and rot. Blossom and rot is an affliction that many of our plants, including tomatoes, peppers, and even eggplants can get. But mainly, it happens to our tomato fruit. In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can litigate this problem so it never ever happens to you or to your delicious tomato fruits. We have our vine, we have the leafy part of the tomato, we have all these tomato fruits, and then we wait to finally harvest our tomato, only to come to our tomato, turn it around, to find blossom and rot. So now let's get into why does this happen and how we can prevent it from ever happening to our tomatoes again. Blossom and rot essentially occurs due to calcium deficiency. And yes, I said calcium deficiency. I did not say calcium deficiency in the soil of your home garden. So now let's talk about this in more detail. So not only it is a calcium deficiency issue, it is also a watering issue. More specifically, inadequate watering when it comes to our tomato plants. And by inadequate, I mean either overwatering or underwatering our tomato plants. Those two can also cause calcium issues when it comes to our tomato fruits. If you've been growing tomatoes in your home garden, then you know blossom and rot, guys. We all have seen it, we all know about it. So in today's video, I'm going to give you useful, easy yet proven gardening tips, how you can combat blossom and rot, and how you can say goodbye to it once and for all, so it'll never ever creep into your home garden ever again. Blossom and rot, unfortunately, is one of the most common problems when it comes to our tomato plants. It presents itself as this ugly, black, mushy spot, mushy hole, if I might say, at the bottom of our tomato plant, at the blossom end of our tomato fruit. Blossom and rot presents itself as this ugly, black, mushy spot, a hole, if I might say, at the bottom end of our tomato fruit, at the blossom side of our tomato fruit. It starts out to be very, very small as our fruit starts to grow. However, the larger a tomato fruit gets, the larger this spot will get, essentially taking over majority of our tomato fruit, eventually making it absolutely inedible. So again, blossom and rot is caused by a lack of calcium in the fruit itself. It may be due to the low calcium in the soil. However, most time that is not the case. Most time there's plenty of calcium in our soil. It's more that its ability, the plant's ability to uptake and transport the calcium from the soil to the fruit is impaired. Now that we spoke about what blossom end rot is and what exactly it looks like, now let's get into all of the possible causes of blossom end rot. The first possible cause of blossom end rot is inconsistent watering to your tomato plant. By inconsistent, I mean either overwatering or underwatering your tomato plant. So going between these two drastic stages can definitely cause an issue with the calcium uptake. Drought, stress, and alternating the soil moisture extremes can definitely cause significant stress to your plant, hence causing an issue with the plant's ability to uptake the calcium from the soil and absorb it and bring it to the tomato fruits themselves, hence causing the blossom end rot on your tomato fruit. Calcium is an essential nutrient when it comes to our tomato fruit, and calcium is a water-soluble nutrient, meaning it does require water, an adequate amount of water, in order for the plants to transport calcium and to apply it in a proper and a correct manner. When you underwater, when you put your tomato plant through drought, there is no liquid that your tomato plant can use to bring the calcium from the soil to your tomato fruit. And when you overwater, what is happening to your roots, guys? They're getting waterlogged. So again, then there is that barrier. The roots cannot absorb that calcium from the soil, hence they're so clogged, they're so logged with the moisture, with the liquid, that they're not able to transfer this calcium nutrient all the way up the main stem and into our tomato fruit. So overwatering is also not good when it comes to our tomato plants and the tomato plant's ability to carry calcium from the soil to the fruit. Possible reason number 2 for blossom end rot is pH imbalance in the soil in your home garden. So the soil in your home garden can be either too acidic or too alkaline. Tomatoes do prefer and thrive growing in a soil with pH level anywhere between 6.5 and 7. So if the soil is too acidic or too alkaline, this can cause a major issue with the roots, with the plant's roots ability to transport calcium from the soil to the fruit. Now a quick gardening tip for those of you who are looking to raise the alkalinity of your soil. All you have to do is add lime to the soil in your home garden. And for those of you who are looking to lower the alkalinity and to make your soil more acidic, all you need to do is add sulfur to your home garden. The next possible reason for blossom end rot, and reason number 3, is rapid growth of your tomato plant. Too much growth in too little time can also result in blossom end rot. If you add a lot of nitrogen, especially in the early stages of your tomato plant's growth, you will get a lot of green leaves, a lot of foliage. And also you will see that by adding nitrogen, your tomato plants will grow quickly, rapidly, if I may say. In fact, if you add too much nitrogen, your plant might start growing way too rapidly in too short amount of timing, which is not good, not healthy for your tomato plant as well. As your plant is growing taller, developing and growing more foliage, the root system, your tomato plant's root system, also will not be able to supply all the necessary calcium to our tomato fruits. And as the fruits start to set and grow, our tomato plant will need more and more calcium. And if the tomato root system cannot provide all that calcium that our fruit needs, we're also going to end up having blossom end rot. Which brings me to the next easy yet proven gardening tip. Always use a slow release organic fertilizer when it comes to growing tomatoes. Make sure your fertilizer is low in nitrogen, yet enriched with phosphorus and with plenty of potassium. I've been hearing from many of you fellow gardeners or people in general who garden that many of you do not like to purchase or use fertilizers in your home garden for whatever reason. Maybe it's a finance issue. Some of you guys say that you don't want to add any unnecessary chemicals to the soil in your home garden. And many of you prefer to use compost. Some of you prefer to use grass clippings. However, guys, I highly stand for using organic fertilizers in my home garden, especially when it comes to growing tomatoes, because when you purchase organic fertilizers, you know exactly what is in that fertilizer. You will know exactly what nutrients your tomato plants will be getting. When you're getting a compost, just a compost, you don't know what's in that compost, what nutrients are in that compost. And when you use grass clippings, you don't know if the grass has been treated with fertilizers or even with weed control chemicals. So again, if you want to ensure that your tomato plants do get the proper nutrition, I highly recommend purchasing proven organic fertilizer. And again, I do recommend some organic tomato tone, but there are other organic fertilizers out there in the market that you can use to make sure that your plants do get adequate nutrition that they need. So again, guys, if you're just using grass clippings or compost or mulch, you might not be giving your tomato plants the nutrients that they need, because again, you do not know what kind of microbes you'll be getting, especially if you are outsourcing the compost. You don't know what was put into that compost bin where you got your compost. If they're not fortifying this compost with ingredients rich in calcium, then you might be getting very little to no calcium in your soil. I recommend getting a bag of good, organic, proven, slow release fertilizer. I always apply the organic fertilizer to each of my planting holes at the time when I plan to transplant my tomatoes. I also top dress the soil underneath my tomato plants with about 2 tablespoons of organic tomato tone, roughly every 2 to 3 weeks, to ensure that my tomato plant will be getting continuous, consistent, and adequate nutrition. Another great product to use in your home garden, and especially when it comes to tomato plants, is bone meal. Again, I use the Spome Organic bone meal, and as the name suggests, it is made from animal bones, and it is rich in calcium. So what happens is they grind the animal bones to powder-like consistency, almost like powdered sugar consistency. So it does break down rather quickly when added to the soil. Also, it is very high in phosphorus, and it is amazing for fruit trees as well. By using bone meal, you will be getting more blooms on your tomato, larger blooms, hence more tomato fruit yield. Another possible cause for blossom end rot is root damage. Say you had weeds growing and you decided to go in there and pull the weeds. Maybe you decided to aerate the soil, cultivate the soil with garden tools. If for whatever reason you damaged, disturbed, or even placed your plant's roots under stress, all of those stress causes to the root system can and will end up causing blossom end rot. So again, guys, we need the root system of our tomato plant to help us absorb the calcium and transport it to the stems and to the fruit themselves. So if there's any damage to the root system, the roots will not be able to absorb the calcium, hence transfer it to the tomato fruit themselves. eventually causing the blossom and rot. There are natural products that you guys can add to the soil in your home garden to up that calcium level in the soil. And those things are eggshells, oyster shells, and or bone meal. Any and all of those 3 products are absolutely natural, organic, and safe to use in our home gardens. If you are using either eggshells or oyster shells, or maybe a combination of both, remember you must grind them very, and I say very finely, to the consistency of powdered sugar. And you should apply them in the late fall, early winter to your home garden. You should not be waiting till spring. You should not apply them directly to the soil when your tomatoes are already in place and growing. Because remember, guys, they will take quite a long time to break down and to be absorbed by the plant's root system. So if you're adding them already at the time when your tomato plants are in the soil and growing, you will not get that calcium that you're looking to get in as quick amount of time as you need to get it, because they do take quite a long time to break down and to be absorbed into the soil's composition. If you're applying either eggshells or oyster shells to the soil at the time when your tomato plants are already in the ground and growing, I promise you guys that will not make any difference when it comes to calcium. You have to give it plenty of time, a few months in fact, for all that calcium to break down and to be available in the soil's composition. Eggshells are calcium carbonate, yes, but it's not free and available calcium. Again, it takes a while for that calcium to break down. So the calcium that you're trying to add to the soil to boost that calcium level in the soil must be free calcium and available calcium, so your plant can get that boost of calcium ASAP. You can go bake and crush a few eggshells and throw them into the soil in your home garden. But guess what, guys? That's not gonna instantly and miraculously fix blossom and rot. So what will? Now let's go into some of the things that we can do to fix and prevent blossom and rot. So one thing you can do to stop and prevent blossom and rot is to take half a cup of garden lime, add about half a tablespoon of white vinegar to a bowl, mix them thoroughly until you see the fizzing reaction, the same reaction you would get when you mix vinegar and baking soda. When you see both of those activate, you add about a gallon of water, regular tap water, to the mixture, and you pour this mixture, the final mixture, to the soil underneath your tomato plants. And garden lime is 20% free active calcium. Another product you can use to give that instant boost of calcium to your home garden is calcium nitrate. But I do tell you guys, it is not an organic product. So for those of you looking for an organic product to use, you're better off using the garden lime, vinegar, and water mixture. But with calcium nitrate, you would dilute that with water in a watering can, and you would apply directly to the soil underneath of your tomato plants. So whether you go the organic route with garden lime or whether you use calcium nitrate, those two are emergency rescue mixes that would give an instant boost of calcium in the soil in your home garden. Another thing to be aware about, guys, as I like to share all the tips and the tricks that I know, is be very careful if you're using calcium nitrate or calcium carbonate, as it can raise, and most likely will raise, the pH level of your soil, making your soil more alkaline. And remember what we said in the beginning of this video: tomatoes prefer to grow in a soil with pH level between 6.5 and 7. So you have to be very careful with raising the alkalinity of your soil, as that can make the root system of your tomato plant also not very happy, and it can prevent the absorption of calcium to the tomato fruit. Another product that you can use in your home garden to stop blossom and rot once and for all, it's actually very effective, and it does give a huge calcium boost to your tomato plant, hence the tomato fruits. And that product is antacid tablets. such as Tums. There are other, generic varieties, but let's call them Tums. They are calcium carbonate. Each tablet contains about 1,000 milligrams of calcium carbonate. And if you crush your antacid tablets, such as Tums, to very finely ground consistency, dilute them with water, say in a watering can, and directly apply that mixture to the soil where your tomato plants are growing, I guarantee you, you will see an end to blossom and rot once and for all. We humans take Tums tablets usually when we have either heartburn or high acidity. However, many gardeners feel very negative about using antacid tablets in their home gardens because they do have other components other than calcium carbonate. They have dyes, they have additives, and they even have sucrose, meaning sugars. And many organic gardeners feel like by adding Tums, the mixture of Tums and water to their soil, they're adding unnecessary, unwanted chemicals, which they do not want to add to the soil. They don't want their plants absorbing those chemicals. So there are pluses and there are minuses when it comes to using Tums or any other antacid tablets in our home garden. But that mixture does serve as an emergency fix to blossom and rot. And I just wanted you guys to be aware of it. I always like to share all the facts, all the details, all the gardening tips that I know and use in my own home garden, so you guys can be aware of everything and make your own smart gardening decision as to when and what you want to use in your home gardens. There is one more foliage spray that you can purchase and use, which is called Rot Stop. However, again, it is not organic and is not meant for organic use, but there is such a spray as well. And guys, there's no need to use insecticidal soaps, herbicides of any sort, because again, blossom and rot has nothing to do with insects. It has nothing to do with bacterial or fungal diseases. This is all due to lack of calcium in our tomato fruit. So we can prevent that lack of calcium. If we can help our tomato plant healthy absorb and transport calcium to the fruit, we will never ever have to deal with blossom rot again in our home gardens. I wanted to share one more easy yet proven gardening tip with you guys. At the time of transplanting or planting our tomato plants in the mid to late spring, I always like to add about 2 to 3 inches of natural mulch to the bed in which I am growing my tomatoes. I like to use natural, safe mulch. Never use dyed mulch or rubber mulch. But any natural mulch from the bark or straw or even untreated grass clippings can do wonders when it comes to retaining moisture in our tomato plants. If the soil is left uncovered, especially in hot, humid summer days, the water that we're giving, the hydration that we're giving to our tomato plants does and will evaporate very, very quickly. So if we want to preserve and conserve that moisture level in our tomato plant's root system, we should be adding safe, untreated mulch, about 2 to 3 inches of mulch to our garden beds at the time when we plant our tomatoes. Not only will protect the soil from harmful UV lights, it will also help retain and conserve the moisture. And remember, calcium is water soluble. It does need plenty of liquid and hydration in order to be absorbed by the roots, to travel all the way up in the stem to the leaves as well as our fruits. So if there's no hydration, no water, our tomato fruits will never get that calcium, even if you have plenty of calcium in your soil. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on this beautiful summer day in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, we spoke all about blossom and rot. What blossom rot is, what it looks like, how we can prevent it, and if it already occurred to us, how we can fix it so we will never have to deal with this issue ever again in our home gardens. For those of you who enjoyed watching this video, if you found the content of this video to be useful, helpful, informative, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments, guys, in the comment section below as well. I love talking to all of you guys, my fellow gardeners. I personally respond to each and every single one of you. Let me know, have you had to deal with blossom end rot? If so, how did you tackle it? How did you combat this problem when it comes to our tomato plants? Share some gardening tips and advice with me, guys. I love hearing from each and every one of you. For those of you guys who haven't yet subscribed to my garden channel, don't be shy, guys. Don't wait any longer. Do so today. Go below this video, click the subscribe button. It's that easy, guys, yet it's so pleasing and rewarding to me knowing that you guys are enjoying watching my videos, that you find the content of my videos to be useful, helpful, informative. If you never want to miss any of my new upcoming gardening videos, don't forget to click the bell icon as well. YouTube will inform you every time I'll upload a new garden video. Stay healthy, happy, be well, guys, and I'll see you again in my new upcoming gardening videos. Bye, guys.